So, serious friends, how are you? Fine? After going through this, what is popular culture? How to define popular culture? We have seen 2/3 of the program we have already completed. Now just 1/3 left. That is, we were discussing the 5-6 definitions of popular culture, isn't it? First one was well-liked culture. Then second we saw residual culture, residual, and third is we saw, what is the third one we saw? That is mass culture. And fourth one, people's culture, mass culture. Yes. So these terms we are familiar with. Well-liked means that is data mining is required. How many CDs left, how many DVDs sold, and so on. And then there is the problem of, we saw official culture, that is autocracies and dictatorship. Residual culture means you decide these 5 items are classical and all the remaining are residual, they are popular. Then there is a problem of cultural traffic, we saw, isn't it? Some forms of culture now classical may become popular and popular may become classical. Example, we have already seen Shakespeare's plays. Then mass culture is American culture, Americanization, so to say. It creates a kind of numbness, no? And also it keeps the people in status quo. That is the criticism of that. And now people's culture, who are the people? You don't know. You have to define people. So every definition has its own problems. And today we have got the 5th definition, that is what we call hegemony. Hegemony, the process of bringing subordinate people under the control of the dominant people, so to say. Every society, hegemony is the concept developed by Antonio Gramsci, that is the Italian Marxist, isn't it? And hegemon comes from the word hegemon, that is Greek word meaning leader. So it is actually domination by leadership. That's the meaning. Domination can be by force also. But this is domination by leadership. That is hegemony means. See, I will tell you one thing. In every society you have got subordinate people and dominant people. And dominant people, as Bertrand Russell famously said, the strong will always bully the weak. Bully, B-U-L-L-Y, bully the weak. That is the nature of the strong people. The strong people cannot see the weak people sitting idle or enjoying their life. They will go troubling them. Bully means trouble. And bring them under their control, under their cultural purview. Understand? So here, imagine one thing like this. There is a factory, this management and the laborers. There is some kind of disagreement between them. One way of putting that disagreement down is, I said disagreement in a mild way, is by using force. Call the police and use force. The other thing is, intelligent managements will never do that. They will call them for negotiation. See, come around the negotiating table, and then they will say, what are your demands? They will give you 10 demands. Okay, we will concede 4 demands. So what happens is that you slowly bring them under your fold. Not by force, but by leadership, intelligent leadership. And this is called compromise equilibrium. A simple example, compromise equilibrium. Now this happens not only in the factory and the society, every aspect of society. Just look at yourself and your father. Now you want to go for a picnic. Arrange from the school or college. From the college. I want the 4,000 rupees. Now what do? You go to your father and say, you don't go to your father straight away, do you? Even if you go, you see what will happen is, it's there is a program in the school. Father, how do you say 4,000 rupees? And then what is the negotiation will start, negotiation. So there is, at last it will end in a compromise equilibrium. You know what is that? Is that 4,000 rupees is too much. At present I cannot give you 4,000 rupees. Next picnic. For next excursion it will be, say, maybe somewhere nearby, and that definitely I will fully fund. And then the boy is happy. So that is compromise equilibrium. Everywhere you find this. See, in matters of gender equality, the feminists. Then there are those people who in the society naturally, who is the dominating masculine, not feminine. So what happens is they want to put the feminine under their control, bring them under their control. See that? Even if you speak about feminism and so on. So what do? They will consider this a negotiation. This process produces a lot of popular cultural forms. That's what he said. So one way of producing, or one way of getting yourself engaged in popular culture is hegemony. Not only in racial matters, in race, in domestic matters, in state matters, in your societies. If you have got a small society, a club, everywhere this is happening. What is happening? The strong will slowly attract you towards their views. So this process of negotiation and attaining supremacy over the subordinates is called what? Hegemony. Hegemony. You can see in when there is a controversy between you and your teacher, there is at last it will end in a compromise equilibrium. Or there is a student and the principal, or the management of the college. So it will end up in compromise equilibrium, and that produces number of cultural forms. Understand that? Yes. Now another process slowly that is very much connected with this is called disarticulation articulation. A process of disarticulation, articulation. Now what is disarticulation means? Don't say. Don't say. Articulate means say. Or articulate means express. Express. You give an outward expression of it. Disarticulation means you don't say but say. That's the thing. So without saying you say. That is disarticulation, articulation means. Now see, I'll tell you. Remember I told you when we were talking about ideology. So there was a broadcast by the Conservative Party. Labour Party is in power in England. Conservative Party broadcast ended like this. What? That democracy is under prison, behind prison bars. In the present situation, democracy is behind prison bars. Now what does that mean? It did not say anything directly about Labour Party. What is that? The socialism implemented by the Labour Party is nothing but slavery. That's what they wanted to say. This happens with many of these advertisements. There is a advertisement for a mattress, and there is a girl is sleeping. Priya is, and her lover or fiancé or boyfriend comes and tries to wake her up. No, she is still sleeping like that. He is doing all kinds of magical disturbance, all possible, humanly possible death, but still she is sleeping. We don't know, till the end of the program, we don't know what is it all about. Then that's comes at the end articulation, what that this particular mattress gives you such a sound sleep. So that is again, most of these advertisements you can see this process of disarticulation, articulation, all as Ronald Barthes said, that is myth, secondary meanings of connotations. Understand? I hope you understand that. Yes. So that is what we call that is compromise equilibrium or hegemony. So it's a political, actually hegemony is concerned with politics, but at the same time you must understand that not only politics, in every walk of life, every aspect of life you will find this hegemony and this disarticulation, articulation. See, without saying you say something. Understand? Another very simple example I'll tell you. Suppose a student comes home after as a fourth failure in the exam, board exam. And then the father comes and says, you have done very well. What is that? It is a disarticulation, articulation, a kind of irony, so to say. So it is disarticulation, articulation. Now, such things are happening in society, and he says that these are different forms of popular culture. Okay. And then the last definition of popular culture is what we call postmodern approach. Postmodern approach. And postmodern approach, what is it? That is triumph of commercialism and death of elitism. Listen. Elite culture died once and for all. No more elite. But there is the victory of commercial culture. In other words, what? In postmodern approach, there is nothing like classical or popular. No such thing. Flood. And there is a flood, what happens? There won't be any boundaries. You can't see any boundary in a flood situation. Like that, it's flooded. The cultural forms are flooded. The society is flooded with cultural forms. So you don't know what is high culture and what is low culture, what is anarchy and what is civilization, nothing of that. And in this situation of what we call a disappearance of, or we can say elite culture vanished in the thin air. Now there is only one culture, and that is called commercial culture, or we can call it another way, popular culture. But here there is a problem. As you can see, there is a circularity. You know what is that circularity? Circularity means in a film, no, you are supposed to a film is being telecast. Now, how many? The film may be, say, episode about 2 hours, but about 4 hours of advertisement they will be inserting that. So, what is happening there? Are they selling the film or are they selling the products? This is circularity. Without selling the product, there is no film. Without film, there is no. Without selling the film, there is no products. Without selling products, there is no film. So it is closely interdependent, and therefore we say it is the circularity. Or as a reality show, for example, songs. Now what happens? There may be 3 or 4 songs sung by 4 upcoming what is called artists, but there will be 4 songs into, let's say, 5, about 20-25 advertisements you will see in the day. So what they are promoting? Are they promoting a cultural form? Are they promoting business? This is the question. So what we do, an overdose of commercialism, that is the consequence of this postmodern approach to popular culture. In postmodern approach to popular culture, there is no division, no difference between the two. You got the point, yes? Okay? But then there is a problem. What is the problem? Problem is there is high, what we must say is the dictatorship of the commercial people. Dictatorship of commercialism, it has come up to that level. So these are the half a dozen definitions of what we call popular culture, but all these definitions, they like some or the other thing. That's why in the beginning, you have got the definitional problem. We discussed the definitional problem of popular culture, isn't it? Do you remember that? Yes. Because always the otherness is there. There is always when you think about this. And it is a confusing and contradictory melting pot of ideas. It's a confusing and contradictory melting pot of ideas. Look at this. Confused. Well, like who? How will you find out? Residual cultural traffic. Mass culture, Americanization. People's culture, who are the people? Hegemony, political, social, racial, gender. What is it all about? Yes. And then postmodernism. There you have got the dictatorship or the autocracy of commercialism that we can say. So every time when we think of popular culture, we have a problem, and that problem is of that otherness. Understand? Whether it is, what is popular culture? It still remains a problem. Understand that? Yeah. Now, another point that we must know is, all this thinking and talking about popular culture developed at a particular stage in history. You know what is the stage? Industrial Revolution. Industrial Revolution. It is after that, now we are thinking about this. And Industrial Revolution has done three things. What are they, Industrial Revolution, the working class people. Working and the popular culture could or equated with the culture of the working class people. That's it. And what actually happened after Industrial Revolution? Actually, what happened after Industrial Revolution is one, mutual obligation replaced by cash nexus. Cash nexus. What is this? In the good old days, there was mutual obligation between the master and the servant. The manager and the laborer. The manager felt that these people are my own, I should look after them. The laborer felt that this, although it is capital is his, it is our business also, so we must work hard. But when after the Industrial Revolution, that mutual obligation of the master and the worker gone, only cash. You give me how much you give me, this I will work for that. Nothing more than that. No overtime, nothing of that sort. Understand that? So that's one thing that happened. Second thing that happened after Industrial Revolution is this called the residential separation. Residential separation means after Industrial Revolution there is urbanization, and as a result of urbanization, large chunks of the city or the suburbs were occupied by working class people. No other people there. See, the area was earmarked for working class people. And the masters or the lords or the noble people, whomever you say aristocrats, they lived in some other place. Thus there was a separation, residential separation. Once upon a time it was not like that, mixed living. But a huge number of laborers, there was an influx of laborers, huge numbers. So they had to be settled somewhere. And they settled down at a particular area in a suburb of the city. That means that becomes a working class ghetto, you can say, or working class area. So residential separation. So naturally what happened? In that residential separation, where there is a dominant number of working class people, they developed their own culture. Look at that. And later on that became popular culture. The aristocratic people, they have their culture. So that became elite culture. Okay. Now the third point is the French Revolution. The French Revolution. The authorities were very concerned about French Revolution. They were thinking, sometimes these people may get this idea from the French Revolution and they will also start revolting. What will happen? So a number of repressive measures were enacted to keep the people under their control. Not like hegemony, this is force, legal, so to say, legislative measures. So naturally what can happen? There should be some kind of revolt against them. Again, this caused the emergence of popular culture. So these are the three reasons actually why the popular culture, the process of popular culture began and developed. One, mutual obligation gone, business relationship, cash. Second, residual separation. And third, French Revolution, and as a result of that, the managers, the state, the administrators, they were worried. Anxiety neurosis, so to say. A kind of anxiety neurosis gripped them. So they started legislative measures to repress and suppress these people. It's only natural, there's anything repressed or suppressed, they will definitely react. And therefore, such reactions developed, and that later gave birth to different forms of culture that became popular culture. But one thing you must remember as a conclusion, as John Storey and also I myself. So my conclusion, but John Storey's conclusion is that please don't think that popular culture is a set of fixed texts. It is a set of fixed, there's nothing fixed about popular culture. See, it is not, popular culture is not anything fixed text. It's not any fixed text, it is not any fixed forms, it is not any fixed rituals, it is not any fixed way of life. It is highly fluctuating. When we say popular culture, we are standing on a very extremely slippery terrain that you must always keep in your mind. So finally what we come, we say you cannot define popular culture because it is in flux. It is in flux. As the Greek philosopher Heraclitus said, you cannot have a bath in the same river for a second time because the water is flowing like that. That may be a bit exaggeration when I speak about culture, but that is the fact. So with this, we come to the end of our discussion on popular culture by John Storey. As I have already told you, if you think that this is a support for you, you must subscribe to my video, my channel, that is Professor Thomas Mathew's channel, Cultural Studies channel, and you should also tell your friends to do likewise. Okay, thank you very much if you do that. Even if you don't do it, I am very happy that you have been listening to my lectures. So okay, all the best. Bye bye.